people that'll be watching this later. So if everyone is not familiar with Zoom, if you go to the upper right-hand corner, it will say speaker view or grid view. If you haven't changed it, you're likely on speaker view. So you'll want to go to the gallery view so you can see everyone that's talking at once, and then you don't get a headache whenever someone talks and it flashes a new person on the screen. And then if anyone doesn't want to speak to the group, you're more than welcome to just do a message to all of us or to me or Kelsey individually, and we'll be happy to ask that question for you. And that can be found at the bottom of your screen where it says chat. And then when you click 2, you can just select everyone, or you can set it to individually, and that'll be private as well. All right, so for Zoom etiquette, as everyone's aware, the gallery view, if everyone talks at once, it's really hard to hear what everyone's saying. So if you do have a question for our panelists, please just feel free to raise your hand. Me, Kelsey, or anyone else from the HFT staff will call on you and you can ask your questions then. And then, is everyone okay with us recording this meeting? I know Kelsey has already set it up to record. I think all of you are good. I got some thumbs up. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So we are going to do some introductions. So as I mentioned, I am Maddie. I work for Head for the Cure. I am almost at my 1-year mark. Fun fact, my very first day, I got in a car with 2 people I had never met, and we drove for 4 hours to Omaha. And I did the Omaha event, and it got rained out. But that was my very first day at Head for the Cure, which I love to tell that story. It's really diving in head first. And then Kelsey, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I think I've gotten the pleasure to meet you all, at least maybe in person, at least over Zoom. So Kelsey, I'm the Events and Operations Manager at Head for the Cure, so overseeing our 5Ks, working closely with our events team and the rest of the staff, just to make this year as successful as can be. So we're really happy that you took the time to join us this evening, and I'm excited to talk about fundraising.
And then we'll continue go over the team at Head for the Cure. So Cheryl, if you want to introduce yourself. You're on mute, Cheryl. Oh, there you go.
I am Cheryl Galloway. I am the administrative manager for Head for the Cure. I've met many of you and talked with many of you on the phone or through email. I handle phone calls, people looking for information, all the checks that come in, memorials, and right now memorials are taking up a lot of the time, unfortunately, but yeah, we're here for those people too. So anyway, good to see you all. This is just so much fun. Thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. And then Allie, since you're next on my screen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Allie. I am a regional relationship coordinator like Maddie, and I'm actually the newest member of the Head for the Cure team. I've been here since mid-February, so I haven't gotten the pleasure to meet anyone in person yet this year, but I've met some of you via Zoom, and I'm excited to someday get to meet you all in person, and just excited for this year and what we have in store.
Awesome. Thank you, Allie. And then Laura.
Hi everyone, I am Laura Cook. There are some new faces on here that I don't know, so I'm excited to meet you guys via Zoom. And then of course some wonderful familiar faces. I'm the Programs and Development Coordinator for Head for the Cure. So I'm a little bit separate from the events team, but still work with them pretty closely on some different aspects of the events. But on the program side, I manage Brains for the Cure, which is our online patient and caregiver navigator. If you have not checked it out, I highly recommend going to www.brainsforthecure.org. Shameless plug. As well as I get to work with our ambassadors, which we have 2 on the call tonight. So a little shout out to Lisa and Anna. And then on the development side, I work on the different giving campaigns that we have outside of our events, along with lots of other little development type things, but excited for another awesome conversation about fundraising tonight. So thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. And Courtney.
Hi, everyone. I'm Courtney. I am a regional relationship coordinator like Maddie and Allie. I get to manage everyone in Texas for all those fun markets, as well as Phoenix. So I get kind of the Southwest in the warmer weather, which is a nice break from where I live in Chicago. So I get to not only play in those events, but connect with you guys as well. It is exciting to see you guys on Zoom every other week. Again, I see some familiar faces, but great to always meet new people as well. And yeah, I'm just excited to talk about fundraising. It's a great thing for us event coordinators to kind of pick your brains at and see where you guys are at. And we get to do that for part 2 tonight.
Awesome. And then Kaylin?
Hi all, my name's Kaylin. I am the event logistics coordinator, so I help manage the back end of all of our events, so permitting, venue, dumpsters, all that fun stuff. And then I also do most of our graphic design, so all the shirts, medals, merch, posters, all that good stuff.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Brian. Oh, you're muted.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm the analytics coordinator for Head for the Cure. So I get to work between the events team as well as the development side and kind of go through the metrics and see how we can optimize and improve our programs to ultimately, work towards the cause of defeating brain cancer.
That's wonderful. And then if you guys don't mind, we're going to go through real quick and I'll call on you to introduce yourself, just your name and the city you are participating from. All right, and we'll start with Susan up at the top.
Susan Mata, Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Dee, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Sure.
Dee Hand. I'm in San Francisco, but I have a team in Cleveland.
Awesome. And Kris. Oh, wait, sorry, Kris, I'm going to skip over you because you're one of our panelists tonight. So you get a little break now. All right, and Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan Elsesser, and I am participating in the Omaha race.
And then Mario.
Hi, I'm one of the board of directors, founder of Voices Against Brain Cancer. We brought our foundation to merge with Head for the Cure. And I do a little bit of everything. Dedicated my life to the brain cancer community. I'm a non-paid volunteer. My middle son died from brain cancer 17 years ago. Good meeting you all. Thanks for making the time.
And then Lisa.
Hi, I live in Kansas City and I participate in the St. Louis and Kansas City race.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Melinda.
Hi, I'm Melinda Angeles. I'm in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm from South Carolina, participate in the Charleston area.
Thank you. And then Anna, I apologize. You're so new. I forgot that you're our intern now.
But yeah, I'm Anna. I participate in the North Texas event every year, so.
Awesome. Thank you. Jenny.
Hi guys, I'm Jenny. I live in Chicago, so I participate in the Chicago race and then the St. Louis race.
Thank you. And then Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm in the North Texas run. Thank you.
Thank you. Sherry. Oh, Sherry, if you can hear us, you're muted. She might have stepped away. All right, doesn't look like Sherry's there. Oh, you're, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm so sorry. I'm driving, so I'm trying to get home from work.
Oh, you're multitasking.
I am. I participate in the North Texas event, and I am also on the board of directors of Head for the Cure.
Awesome.
So
and then we have
here with
Frida
y'all.
just joined. Oh, did she? Dropped off.
I did.
Oh, there you are. You moved spots on there. Do you want to do your introduction real quick?
Yes, I'm Frida Strader, and I've been at Head for the Cure since 2012. I'm in the finance, one of what we call our finance committee group, one of three. And I've really have enjoyed these community visits because I learn so much more about what everybody's doing because I'm mostly looking for money.
Thank you, Frida. And then Catherine, let's have you introduce yourself. Catherine is going to be one of our panelists tonight. So Catherine, if you just want to go over your city, team, how long you've been involved, and how you got involved in the first place.
Hey, I'm Catherine Heidel. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. And this is our 8th race. Sorry, my husband's over here as my side panel. This is our, I think, 7th or 8th race. I'm pretty sure it's our 8th. I have a brain tumor. So I'm, the first year that I found out I had the brain tumor was June. So I missed your race, the first one here. So since the second one, we've been involved.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
And then Kris, if you want to introduce yourself as well, city, team, how long you've been, and how you got involved.
Sure. So my name is Kris Campbell. I live in Kansas City, so that's our primary event, but we have also participated in St. Louis, Chicago, North Texas. I think that's it. I was registered for another and wasn't able to go. So we registered the first year. My husband Harry and I registered the first year because he and Matt Anthony have been longtime friends, and we just wanted to support the cause. And so it was about 10 months later I got my diagnosis. So this will be my 17th year in the Kansas City event. And the name of my team, you'll never guess how I came up with this, Team Kris Campbell. So, but I look forward to sharing some thoughts later about fundraising and team building.
Awesome. Thank you, Kris. And then I heard you have a PowerPoint that you'd like to share with us tonight.
I do.
Awesome. Yeah, if you just want to go ahead and take care of, if you want to start into that, and then afterwards we'll drive right into our questions and get that call going.
You have another new person.
Had Nydia join us. Hi, Nydia.
Oh, hi, Nydia.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, Nydia. If you just want to let us know what city you're from.
Yeah, I'm from Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. Awesome. 2 Salt Lake Cities on the call today.
Oh, good. Check to see who else is on here.
Got Susan, Nydia.
Sure. Okay.
Perfect.
Right on here. Yeah. There she is. Hi.
And then, Kris, do you see how to share your screen?
I do. I just want to make sure you are ready.
Yeah, we are all good now.
And here we go. So
thanks for catching
I worked on this today. I just kind of wanted to give some visuals. And I know Mario on the last meeting was asking Dee for all of her awesome ideas in some sort of written format. So I figure I can build on this as we go, but I started this today. So again, my name is Kris Campbell. This will be our 17th year. You can see our team picture, one of our team pictures there at the bottom, but I just wanted to share some ideas here about fundraising. So I love that Head for the Cure existed already when I needed an organization to be a part of. And so I love that Chris Anthony's legacy is part of this, but as this organization has grown, we're just allowed to multiply our voices and our efforts to support the cause. It gives us a meaningful and measurable way to collectively make an impact. It gives us legitimacy for our fundraising, and it provides the events that really bring us together as a community and allow us to prompt people for donations and participation. So I just think about, as somebody new is forming a team, or even as we continue to identify what our teams are about, the first thing you have to start with is your team identity and your team story. Like, where did it start? Who are you supporting? Like, I know some of the team captains here, like me, are living with brain tumors, but others are captains of teams, either supporting somebody who is living with one or somebody who has passed away. So when I look at this statement, I just talk about my history. I was 34, I'd been married for 10 months, and I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So kind of starts with the roots of my background. But the part that's highlighted there in gray is what I lean on when I feel tired. I think one of the questions Kelsey sent out that, was something that you always want to discuss is, what do you do like to keep going. And so I feel that I am privileged and also obligated to raise awareness and funding for brain tumor research, especially on behalf of the Warriors. That is the thing that when I feel like, oh gosh, I can't ask people for money again. I can't ask these people to participate again. It's a blessing to be here for the 17th event in Kansas City, but I kind of need to keep reinventing the message just a little bit and keep it fresh. But anytime I feel tired, that's what I go to, is that I am privileged and obligated. So in terms of like team building, I think branding, I'm a marketer at heart. So my team name is Team Kris Campbell. That goes back to college when I was running for an office, and I did Team Kris, I'm sorry, just posters vote for Kris. And my opponent was Kris with a K, and then I put an A, and she was Anderson. I was Abbott. And so I just decided I would keep it simple. So I know other people have really innovative team names, and I think those are amazing too. I have a tumor name based on the name of the bar where Harry and I decided what our course of action was going to be to address my tumor. And it was a diner called Louie's, and so my tumor name is Louie. I used to pray privately, please cure Louie and all brain tumors. And back probably in the 3rd or 4th year of our team, my sister said, let's make team t-shirts. And she said, what should we put on it? And it's kind of like that whole thing with the birthday wish, where if you say it out loud, you jinx it. So I never wanted to say this out loud. This was my private prayer. But when she asked me what we should put on it, I said, okay, it's going to go public, because this is what I pray for, is please cure Louie and all brain tumors. It's what we're working towards, right? So then also in terms of branding, I have a friend who does design work, and I asked her to put together some logos using our tagline, and also just for Team Kris Campbell for the shirts. And you can see there on the screen what she came up with. And the color was based on the first shirts my sister did. So I never actually chose our team color. It was kind of chosen for me, but everything's built around that at this point. So t-shirts, we don't have hats yet, but I know Dee and other people have talked about swag, or any kind of printed materials and any kind of wearable things and anything you want to do to build your brand identity. But I think those things really help people, especially at the event, feel like they're part of the community. And I think they feel more committed to coming back year after year, because they walk around and they see the other people, even if they don't know them, they know they're part of that team and supporting the same person. So that's something I think is very important. I think, and again, making it personal. So leveraging your team identity in everything you do, whatever it is, your tagline or your team name. It's a race, but it's not just a race. So we always talk about walkers, runners, and strollers. So if you're a runner, celebrate being a runner. I am not a runner. So I tell people, you don't have to be a runner. You can come, you don't even have to do the course if you don't want to. You can hang at the tent. So I'm like, just come, just be part of the experience. We used to do, and you can see here in the picture, we used to do a backyard brunch. So a number of years in, a friend of mine said, hey, we really love being there, but it's over so fast. And so she started helping to coordinate this casserole experience in our backyard. So we would come from the race to our backyard and hang out with everybody. Mm-hmm. It got, after about a decade, we decided to try something new. So we decided last year that we were going to do the post-race brunch and kind of incorporate what was happening at the venue, but stay at the venue and bring some other things. And as you all know, we stood under tents and tried not to be electrocuted or drowned. So that wasn't super successful, but it was still a bonding experience and really fun. And that's what we'll continue to try to do. I appreciate how much the Head for the Cure staff has invested in making the post-race experience a community builder. And so we want to be part of that. I recommend taking lots of pictures. You can assign a team photographer. Just makes, that gets you in some of the pictures as either the team captain, or it gets if you're not the survivor, then it gets your survivor in the pictures. And it's great when you go back and post those on Facebook and tag people. It just, again, builds that team and creates that community. You can include your workplace. And I know some of these ideas aren't new. I was trying to be, inclusive of all of the ideas that we've utilized. And so maybe they're a sponsor. When Harry worked at DuraVision, they actually paid the registration fees for anybody at DuraVision who wanted to participate, either the employee and their family members. You could have I've started to put casual day, but is there anything now that's not casual? So I put wear gray day. But something where, you know, people would pay $5 and wear gray at work. And I know right now we're not at work, but you could even do it on a Zoom. So, you know, you have a work meeting and everybody's in gray or whatever it is, your favorite color, your team color, team t-shirts. And then promote in your neighborhood, like utilize the Head for the Cure yard signs. We live in a neighborhood that has almost 600 homes. So there's a newsletter. Well, it's not a newsletter. There's a website that produces a newsletter, and there's also a couple of neighborhoods participate in a magazine. And so we've had articles and covers and things promoting the event. And then the lemonade stand, you would think that might be a fundraiser, but really what we've wanted to do is a lemonade stand where you basically say it's free if you'll take this and register or make a donation. So just something to get people to stop in your neighborhood and find out more. So I think the most important thing, if you're going to fundraise, is set a goal. It doesn't have to be a lofty goal, but it's something either for the fundraising dollars or participants. Like I've had years where I'm like, okay, I feel like I've wrung everybody dry financially. And I've also had another organization where I've traveled internationally and raised funds for solar lights in third world countries. So there've been years where I'm like, how many times can I ask people for money? And so I maybe shifted to participants as a goal, but people who can't participate tend to donate. So what I like about setting a goal is it creates permission to keep contacting people. Hey, we said we were going to raise $10,000 and we're at 2,500, go team. And you know, if you haven't had a chance to sign up yet or donate, here's the link. So it just allows you to continue to come back because you have news to share. And then, like I said, it encourages people to help you reach your goal. One of the things that is really, whoops, I'm sorry. Uh-oh. Nope, wrong way. Sorry, I was using my hands and I hit my mouse. Okay, to determine the length of your campaign, like there are years where I feel like I can fundraise year round. Like I am happy to leverage every single possible opportunity to ask people for money. And there's other years where I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till registration opens. So I think it's just important to kind of know the bandwidth that you have and that your team has, and you know what everyone around you in terms of being open to sending out and receiving messages about fundraising. But I think encouraging your team members to fundraise, especially, you know, you can set a goal on the website, you know, when you register, but I think the Facebook fundraisers now where you can tag it right back to Head for the Cure and you still get the notification when people donate is amazing. And it's an easy thing. Like my sisters will go out and do it. My friends will go out and do it. And it just helps spread the word. So other things that you can do in your communications, like on the anniversary of my diagnosis, on the anniversary of my surgery, Brain Tumor Awareness Month, MRI results, my birthday. So the renewing your driver's license, like I renewed my driver's license in 2010 and I posted and said, I had to go get a new driver's license right before I had brain surgery in 2004. Because I had gotten married, I told you 10 months, and I had not changed from our old address. I'd gone from a Missouri driver's license to our when I moved in with Harry in Kansas to that, but I hadn't updated to our new address. And I went and did it, and I remembered thinking, I'm not sure if I'll ever have the opportunity to update my driver's license again. And so when I went and renewed it in 2010, sorry, I'm a little emotional about this one, I posted about it and it was one of the most impactful messages. So there's just certain things where, you know, and I just turned 50 recently. So that was another one that I've talked about because when I was diagnosed at 34, the statistics for my diagnosis never gave much hope that I would ever turn 50. So here I am, and I want to share that because I want people to celebrate with me and I want them to have kind of a fresh perspective on my fundraising. So, and then like I said, you know, anytime you have an update on your fundraising goals. There's been a lot of talk about direct monetary donations, so I won't spend too much time on this, but of course, promoting through social media. Like this year, because of COVID, I've created a separate group just for the 2020 event so I can communicate with everybody and celebrate every donation and everybody who's registered and share old pictures. And so I'm trying to create some energy around that this year. So in our email, I went ahead and included the wording that my husband uses. It's kind of his template for when he sends stuff out. And it's usually 2 to 4 weeks before the event. So clearly in this one, it was 2 weeks. But just in case you wanted any kind of idea about, you know, the level of energy and like what we say, I just put it in there. I know last time Dee talked a lot about postcards, mailings, those kind of communications. And also if you have a Caring Bridge site, for a long time I used my Caring Bridge site to celebrate the results of an event and also promote the next one. Corporate matching grants are always awesome. And then we have benefited from, and it might have to be in Kansas City. If anyone's interested in this, I think we probably need to find out more about what's currently happening. But I think like we participate in the United Way campaign, and we direct half of our, which is the max, half of our donation to Head for the Cure, even though it's not a United Way agency, but they allow for that. And so it might have to be in Kansas City only because the United Way of Greater Kansas City, and then with Head for the Cure being based in Kansas City. Does anyone know, is that correct? On the Head for the Cure staff? But we've had years where we've raised, $10,000 that way from people designating half of their United Way funds to Head for the Cure to our team.
I'm not sure if it's just Kansas City or not, if that would be possible, but that's something that I think, Cheryl, you're really familiar with. Maybe you and I can look into that.
Yeah, so I would say for sure for Kansas City, because the foundation is based here, because I think it still needs to be a community organization. So even though there are events in other cities, it might just, but if you guys would follow up, that'd be awesome, because that's been a really great thing for us. And I think I talked last time about my goal for this year is to try to raise $46,000, which is nuts. But that would get us to $500,000 raised since 2004. And so you can see where United Way funds would be kind of key in that sort of audacious goal. By the way, when we started our first year, we raised like $10,000, and I thought that was the most amazing thing. I was over the moon. I mean, I think that's an incredible amount of money. So this is just, we've just really tried to do everything we can every year and talk to everybody we can. And so it's been $20 at a time and $5,000 at a time that's gotten us to where we are. So another thing that we've done, I've done a lot of those home sale parties, like, and what I'll do is multiple vendors. I'll do like Silpata and Pampered Chef and something else. It could be anything, clothing or whatever. Multiple vendors, and I say, come on over, you're not obligated to buy anything. There's multiple vendors, they'll never know if you bought from the other person or not. So, because sometimes people don't want to come to those kind of parties because they're like, okay, I'm gonna have to find the cheapest thing that I actually like so that I can get out of this party. Like, those can be really uncomfortable sometimes. And if any of you are home sales people, I apologize. But sometimes if it's not your thing, but the person is your person, you're just like, okay, I don't do candles, but I will get a candle, or I don't do Pampered Chef, but I'll buy a spatula, or I don't do jewelry, but I can buy these earrings for someone else, so you'll try to figure out how to support it. But when there's multiple vendors, it's actually just really interesting, the dynamic. I raise so much more money that way. And the money comes because the corporation makes a donation, but the real impact is if your sales consultant will make the donation. So right now, of course, in the era of COVID, no one's going to be having 3 vendors come over to a house and, have 50 women come over and shop. So I would recommend online parties, and I'm going to talk a little more about that specifically with Pampered Chef in a minute. But some of the other crazy things we've done, my Wisconsin family decided that they wanted to help me raise money. And so I was at a family reunion and they showed up with all this stuff, new and used. So some of it was grandma's whatever tea set or something, and so things that people really wanted, and so they had to outbid each other on it. And then it would be like things, I had a cousin in the Air Force and she brought brand new paraphernalia from the Air Force, and and people bid on those kind of things. And I think we raised like $2,500 in a barn in Wisconsin. One year, my landscaping company had a contest. Put up your picture, and whichever picture gets the most likes, that person gets free mulch and installation. Well, we were already going to buy mulch and have it installed by this company. And so what we said to all of our Head for the Cure team, Kris Campbell folks, was vote for us. If we win the mulch, we will donate the value of the mulch to Head for the Cure. So we ended up with hundreds of dollars worth of mulch and installation, and we got that free, and then we wrote the check. So it was like we would have paid for it anyway. But that was a way for people just to spend their time, but not their money, helping us raise funds for the organization. Garage sales. I think that Team Little Owl does this really well. I've never done this for Head for the Cure, but I did it for another brain tumor organization in Kansas City for Be Headstrong about 15 years ago. And we ended up with donations that we couldn't use for an auction they were doing. My sister worked for Newell Rubbermaid. We had semi-trucks. She asked all of her contacts if there was anything they could send. And the next thing I knew, we had semi-trucks pulling up with like the lift gates coming down and like pallets being delivered into our garage of Rubbermaid stuff. So we had Sharpie markers, we had trash cans, and all these things were new. It was crazy. So we ended up doing a garage sale to sell all that stuff. And I mean, most garage sales would raise hundreds or maybe, I think the way Team Little Owl does it is thousands because it's multifamily and it's really big. But we ended up raising $5,000 because we had a lot of new stuff too. And it was the craziest day. I was standing there with trash cans and a sign $10 and people were stuck in traffic because it was a neighborhood garage sale. And people are passing us cash and we were putting trash cans in their cars through the windows. So, you know, it just kind of anything goes, like whatever you can come up with. And then recently, a friend was raising money for an organization that was kind of timely in terms of what's going on socially in the country. And she's a great sewer and she was making face masks. And she just said, here they are, and you can donate any amount you want. I'll send them to you, and then I'm going to make the donation to the organization. I'm not crafty, but a lot of people are. So if you wanted to do face masks, art, baked goods, note cards, whatever you wanted to do, I mean, maybe not baked goods in COVID, but things like that I think are really interesting and fresh. So, okay, I know this graphic is a little blurry, but going back to the home sales. So this is something I really want you guys to consider. My sister Beth is a Pampered Chef rep, and if you have friends who rep Pampered Chef, I would say go with them. But I want to point out what my sister does, which is Pampered Chef will donate 10 to 15% of the sales to Head for the Cure. And that's, I think you have to get over maybe $650 total for the party before it goes to 15%. Her commission is 18%, and she donates the entire 18% plus her time. So she makes no money off of it. I mean, it builds towards her goals, but this money all goes to Head for the Cure. So right now, if you have a party that at $700, you're going to get 33% of that money back to your team. And Cheryl and Jenna and the team are great at making sure that's tagged back to the team. And Beth knows how to do it to make sure every order is allocated properly to the right team. So the other thing I would recommend so that teams would get to the 15% is to maybe consider for a number of teams in the same city to do it at the same time and be part of one cohesive party. Because like I said, she can parse it out to make sure you get your correct donation that's due to your team. And so she does it via Facebook. And again, sorry for the graphic being a little blurry. But all you really need to do is she'll set up the group and you just invite people on Facebook to the group. So if you're not on Facebook, this wouldn't apply. She could do a party another way, but the Facebook parties are pretty easy, pretty turnkey. And what you need to do is make sure you and a number of other people just like every post so that they pop up in the feeds of the people who've joined the group. And then she'll do recipes, she'll go live and cook things like whatever she's making for dinner and shows you how she's using the air fryer. And during this time of COVID, it's been really exciting because their business is just going gangbusters because people are cooking at home so much more. So 33% would be what your team would be allocated. We did this recently, and then we had a matching grant so that 50% of every order went to Head for the Cure. And so we raised $3,000, I think. So you can see how I'm trying, hanging on by my fingernails, trying to reach my goal, but that's one of the ways. So then my husband doesn't offer this to me. His fund, he does speaking and raises money for Head for the Cure. None of his fundraising gets credited specifically to Team Campbell. He's got his own fundraising number. So, but for you, for all of you, he has an offer, which is, so he's got 3 keynote speeches. He started doing leadership speaking back when he worked at Sprint, and he had different opportunities to be in the community talking about leadership. And so he had a keynote speech that he developed in 2012, Get Real Leadership. And he's followed that with culture in 16 and mindset, just, I mean, literally like last week. 100% of his gross speaking fees go to Head for the Cure. And on the next slide, there's a graphic. This is $400,000 raised, but I think he's at $450,000 raised. Then the net proceeds from his books, they're $10. They're on Amazon. They're really more of a takeaway from the speeches than, like, I wouldn't say start with the book and only read the book. I would say listen to Harry speak, and then the book's kind of a reminder of the principles that he talks about. And I'm not trying to diss the books. I'm just trying to say he's a fantastic speaker. So his speaking engagements usually garner $2,500 to up to $10,000, depending on the event and the audience. But you can see how that would get him to $450,000. But his offer is, if you're part of a business or your spouse or someone on your team or part of a professional organization who needs a speaker, keynote speaker at a conference or at he's even doing it via Zoom right now, although I would say you're missing out a little bit on his energy if he can't be on a stage where he can really gesticulate and pace. But he will, if you help facilitate his being hired by a company or organization, his speaking fees will be credited directly to your team's fundraising. Like I said, I'm the only team captain that doesn't get that, but I think this is a pretty cool deal. And, you know, in the end, I don't care because it all goes to the same organization, the same cause, and I'm really proud of him for doing it. But I want to point this out because I think it's gone out in emails and been posted kind of in like the team captain page at different times, but I just wanted to make it more three-dimensional and just tell you about what he's done for the organization and that it can directly benefit your fundraising. So he's spoken to like Cisco in Washington, DC. He's spoken to he goes to EFM. It's like technology conferences, and like he's the one when everything's super techy that he gets in there and the other side of the brain gets all excited, you know, because people have been listening to like accounting practices or whatever it is or software, and then all of a sudden Harry gets on stage and he's all energetic. So he's also done things as simple as like a book club at a bank. And he didn't know that the CEO was going to drop in, and the CEO dropped in and was so excited about it and why he was doing it that they donated $1,000. So it can be smaller scale too. But just if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to forward along his information, or Jenna or any of the staff could talk to you about that too. So that's what I have.
Awesome. Thank you, Kris.
Kris, you are amazing.
A lot.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I know, just as a person, this is my job, but if I had to raise something outside, I could not do anything of that grand gesture. And something more feasible, which I know a lot of us are just getting started out in the fundraising game and don't have nearly as much 18 years of experience, 17 years, I think you said, Kris, of experience just kind of helping out with everything. So I would like to kind of ask some questions to Catherine, if you're still up for it. Catherine has a cake party that she puts on in Wichita, and I would love if you would just kind of ask, or kind of get started of how you got going with your first party and how that went.
Right, and just to be clear, you said keg party, like a kegger, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm really okay.
Okay. Well, after that presentation, mine looks like nothing, but Kris, I found out that I had my brain tumor 1 year after Clay and I got married, and I'm almost 50. So I kind of feel those are my two similarities.
You're my soul sister.
No, yes. So, so the first year that Clay and I did the race was just mainly just to get my friends together, and it wasn't even about fundraising. It was just kind of to get my friends to participate. And then kind of like my friends participating kind of got less. So then Clay and I started to focus more on just doing fundraising. So, and it's not a lot of fundraising, but we have a great backyard. If I could flip this around and show you what it looks like, it's a great place for a house party. So the race is always in June. So we just decided to have a kegger, and it started to go from 2 kegs, and now we're at 4 kegs. So our kids are 25, 26, and 30. So they like to drink, their friends like to drink. And if you have 25-year-old who pays $20 to drink as much beer as they want, who's in?
Yeah.
Right?
And you said was it 25 or 20? And it's like however much you want.
It's 20. We're doing $20.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a
That's
steal.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. The liquor store down the street gives us a discount every year, and then they always have a certain keg that's they want to get rid of. So,
Hey.
I know this year's hard and it's different and it's confusing because we couldn't have the keg party. That was supposed to be 2 weeks ago when we usually have it. And then we're not sure if people will come to the next keg party because we're not sure when we're going to have that either. And we're trying to do it to where it's before the race or the virtual race. So we're still trying to determine this year. So I think this year is going to be just a little bit different as far as some stuff and how we're going to do it. He still really plans on having the keg party. We're just not sure if we have it in like maybe a couple different weekends.
Do curbside, do curbside delivery.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure that driving
drive through
beer would probably be the best thing ever. But anyway, but I just think that this year is with the virtual race and stuff, things are going to have to just kind of be different as far as getting donations. And this is a year too where I have put a lot of stuff on Facebook. I had to start treatments again in January. So there's a whole lot of my Facebook. I was trying to take people kind of through my little journey and doing radiation and having to wear the mask and the emotions of going through all of that. And I've still been taking pictures of, you know, all the chemo pills that I have to take every night. So I feel like maybe this year I'm going to have to, like Kris said, is to get personal with it and just make it to where people are seeing what's going on and what is like having a brain tumor through me. So I feel like that's how I'm going to have to do stuff this year. Of course, my awesome husband always sends out a wonderful email to all of his work employees and everybody in his HR that and they usually donate lots of money that way too. So really that's it. And by the way, Kris, my team name is Team Catherine.
Video.
You can know that as well.
I love it. It's very easy to find their information at registration though, because I'm like, ooh, that person is the survivor.
That I've also done. You can see it.
Woo! I love it.
Love it.
And then we have this on the back.
Oh, so good.
Those are great.
So I have a t-shirt of me.
I love it.
So.
And then Catherine, do you find that when you have the events that even if like someone hasn't signed up to register, do you feel like you get some people to register at your events when it's held before the event?
You know, it's hard because with it being typically the race here falls right after like a weekend. I mean, it's when everybody's going on vacation. So it's hard to get people to come and sign up for it. But this year, since I've posted something already, I actually have had a couple people, one that lives in Virginia, and they're all about, I will join your race since it's virtual. So that is one nice thing about it being virtual is nobody has to be here to be on the team. So I think that that's positive.
That is awesome. And then has anything else in your fundraiser evolved over the years besides going up to 4 kegs?
Well, here's the deal too, is that I'm involved in a lot of stuff in Wichita, and I every year kind of feel like I meet new people who don't know anything about me. And when I start to put stuff on Facebook and things like that, people, they are, I don't even know how to say it. They're just like, I had no idea. And so those people then are super interested in what's going on So I feel like, once again, I think the whole social media and all that kind of things are what I'm going to have to start doing more of. But like I said, when we first went, we were just trying to get people to be on our team. And now maybe our goal should be 4,600, not 46,000.
Yeah,
I'm
for
just
sure.
Okay, that's been an evolution, and it's an audacious goal, and I don't know if I can meet it.
That's all right.
I'll let you guys know.
Catherine, I like that idea. 4,600 sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a lot more than what I did last year, but I don't know. We'll see. You know, with it being virtual and just having people sign up for my team and then just asking for a little bit extra. I'm in junior league too here in Wichita, and we do a lot of stuff about training and asking. And you know, one of our leaders in that is just basically said, everybody wants to give. You just have to ask for it. So that's just one thing that you always need to keep in your mind. Always ask.
So do you find that now, is it easier to ask over social media, like you said, you're sharing more, or do you find emails or personal contact, like face-to-face or telephone, easier?
Right now is hard because, like,
yeah,
I mean, when we would do, what is it you do at the restaurant, like payback day, you know, we've done a couple of with on the border, things like that. And those are really hard to do right now. I feel like they should have a liquor store payback night, because the liquor stores are all the ones that are selling this stuff now. Maybe I'll ask. I don't know.
Yeah, we should do that, and then $5 for like a Zoom meeting, and then everyone has their drink, and then you do like a themed Zoom with the drink. That'd be fun. Throwing it out.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? If they could do one night and just give me 10%, it'd be great. Who knows? But I just think now is time to think outside the box.
Yeah. So with this, do you think that since it's going to be so different this year, do you think that you'll maybe approach it with like multiple smaller events, like they maybe like Zoom meetings, or still kind of go for that larger all together one day type event?
We're going to go big.
We're going to go big? I like it. That's the way to go.
Everybody asks us, like every time we see people are like, when is the keg party? So
yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Catherine's known for cake parties.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Catherine, I would love to come. So I feel like it's weird because I'm just here of inviting myself, but that sounds great.
Fine. That's only like 2.5 hours. You're down here.
Kelsey and I will bite the bullet and drive to Wichita. We'll do it. Yeah, Kris, we're all gonna get it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I have a question for both Kris and Catherine. What is something she would have known or done before you started your first fundraising event? So let's go with Kris first, if you want to answer.
Sure. I think back in 2004, I didn't expect to be sitting here, and not because I'm super negative. I just looked at the reality of a diagnosis, and I didn't expect to be sitting here in 2020. So when I'm telling you what my fundraising goals are and what my totals are, it took a whole lot of work to go back and try to piece that together, because I did not keep great records. I don't have great records of who my team members were in 04, 05, 06, 07. I don't have great records. I'm going by emails and CaringBridge posts to try to paste together that history. I wish I'd been a better record keeper. Today when I was working on this, I said, Harry, do you remember that thing at the art gallery? And it was somehow related to this organization and they raised money. I'm like, how do we raise money? What did we do there? He goes, I don't even remember being there. I'm like, okay, I wish I'd written it down. So I would say keeping a record, keeping a journal, keeping Excel spreadsheets, and just having a better history, documented history of everything that we've done. Because now that we're going on our 17th year, there are things that kind of got lost. And that really hit me today as I was trying to share. And by the way, Catherine, I just want to tell you, like, I have 3 new fundraising ideas based on your fundraising idea. So I am so excited. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it.
That's awesome. And Catherine?
I think the difference between having the first one versus now is, at first, it was a fairly new diagnosis. So I just kind of wanted to keep back from it, and I didn't really want to be too involved. And if my friends wanted to, do the walk with me, that was great. And in the 9 years that has been since I've had the diagnosis, I think I'm more outward with everything and telling people about what goes on and what I'm involved in and all of that. I think it's just kind of not hiding behind my diagnosis, but getting out there and using it to help.
I think there's an evolution from first being diagnosed and becoming a patient to being an advocate. You don't turn that on right away first thing. And so I think you just described your journey becoming an advocate. And so one thing that I didn't include on the PowerPoint, but that's something we've done, is we've had people kind of in our orbit who know somebody who's been diagnosed, and they're not really ready to be the advocate, but they want to feel included. They don't want to feel kind of nameless at the event. They're not ready to do t-shirts. They don't really want a team name. And we've just kind of folded them in. So I think we've had maybe 4 or 5 different brain tumor patients, especially those that are going through a really difficult journey where just the focus can't be on advocacy. It's more about the community and the support. But we've just folded them in, included them in our brunches, included them in our team communications, had them meet at our tent. They don't always wear our t-shirts, but one year, because we had a lot of overlap, some of the gals wore our team t-shirt, but then wore purple tutus for Judith because purple was her favorite color. And so it was kind of a hybrid team. And so anytime that you know somebody, you're connected to somebody and you just kind of want to make it easier for them, it's not about taking credit for their fundraising or trying to take credit for the numbers. It's about that community and just folding somebody in and embracing them until they're really ready or their family's really ready to do it for them. And maybe they never will be, but that just gives them an opportunity not to be quite so anonymous, especially in Kansas City with 5,000 people.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, Kris.
I'm also a leader for a brain tumor support group here at Victory in the Valley too. So that's one thing, is I try to get those people all interested in doing teams or being on my team as well.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much to our wonderful survivors sharing their fundraising tips. And of course, I'd like to open it up with anyone have a question. You want to raise your hand and I'll call on you. No pressure.
I just want to say, I thought listening to both ladies was absolutely wonderful to know all the things that you guys put into and the effort that you put into getting ready for the walks and the races and for your team. I just think it's wonderful. I, as I said, since I don't get to participate very often and don't know everybody as well as our other people in our organization, I just am just so happy that I have been involved in these discussions. And I would add one more thing about Kris Campbell and her remarks about Harry is I have only heard one of his talks, but let me tell you, they are so fun and so great. If anybody wants to have somebody come in and talk to a group and get them excited about anything, Harry's your man.
Awesome. Thanks, Frida.
Thanks, Frida.
Yeah, Melinda.
So this is a question, I guess, for Kaylin. I was wondering if you could share the like the Adobe Illustrator files or the vector graphics for the Head for the Cure, because I was gonna create my own postcards and stuff with photos of mine, and I just wanted to get good high quality graphics instead of just like the raster images online that I could find with Google image results.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Okay, cool.
I'll make sure you two connect via email, so I'll do that, Melinda.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you. Dee?
I was just wanting to know from the whole group, does anyone have any particular plan or verbiage or anything to invite people to be individual fundraisers? I've never really done that, and I love the idea.
So Dee, I'll check. I hadn't asked in the last couple years, but I'd asked previously. So I'll look through my files
Yeah, I mean, would you do it on Facebook? Would you send them an email? You know, I'm kind of looking for those kinds of ideas too.
This would be a great year to do that.
Was this a question? I'm hi, it's Sherry. I'm sorry, I just got home. But what was the question? Are there people on your team that are individual fundraisers? Was that the question?
No, how do you go about inviting people to be individual contributors or fundraisers rather? If there's any, you know, if there was anything that people did. I'm thinking, you know, I'm thinking about trying to do some kind of big campaign where I invite everybody on the mailing list to be a contributor, but I'm not really sure exactly. I haven't figured it all out yet.
Okay. Well, I guess because I'm not a team captain, but all my I do a personal fundraiser for Team Stevie in North Texas. And so just because the cause is just so dear to my heart, but I'm not a team captain per se.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
So I think when they register, I guess I'm confused.
So Dee, I'm thinking one of the things I did one year was I had a prize for the top fundraiser, and I would communicate about the people who were actively fundraising and kind of made it a little bit of a competition.
Oh, that's good.
And then one year it was really my sisters who went out and did it. They each, and of course there's a lot of overlap in the people they know, but my sisters each went out and did one. And then that prompted some of my cousins to do it too. So it kind of spread like wildfire once the family started.
Once they got
doing
competitive.
It. Yeah. So I think the competition and reward and recognition would all be key components to encouraging people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like another thing, kind of like with Catherine's for the $20 to be part of the event, you can do it like if you raise $100, like you don't have to pay the 20, kind of like some form of incentive like that to kind of give them a goal to reach for.
So just in case people want to give extra, we take it as well.
Of course.
One year we did 15 and then people just gave 20. So then we thought if we do 20, maybe people will give 25, but maybe it's a nice even number. Maybe we need to go 25 so people give 30.
Right, if you bump up to 30, they give 40.
Right.
It's
Everything needs to end in a 5, so you just get the rest of the money. Except for like 22 and 23-year-olds who will only give you like 25 ones. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong
Or
with
Venmo. Worse yet, Venmo.
Oh yeah, they can Venmo us. That'll be
Cheryl.
I know there's been a lot of, with COVID, showing how it spreads, and you could use that same kind of analyzing to pass this out to people who are fundraising and say, if you donate 5 and these 2 donate 5 and they get 2 people to donate 5, and then how it builds so rapidly that maybe you could do something with that.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Creative.
Anyone else have any questions before we get our final thoughts in? Very good. Kris, Catherine, is there anything you didn't get to share either or previously that you would like to kind of impart on the group?
I'll yield to Catherine first.
I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah. I had a PowerPoint, so I'm pretty sure I covered what I planned to.
Is that something that you'd be willing to send to me, and I'll send it in our recap email so that people can view it afterwards as well? Is that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you all, and thank you especially to Catherine and Kris for sharing your stories and your fundraising with us. We really appreciate it. And if you guys afterwards have any questions, always feel free to reach out to one of us. We're very accessible. I mean, you can send us a message on Facebook and one of us will respond and we can have a talk if you need. So we'll have a recap email next week. So look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Lots of good ideas.
Guys.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone have a
Bye.
great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Just the family now.
Bye, Courtney.
Bye.
Bye, Susan.